It's Wednesday, May 13th. In the headlines, government allocates $1 billion for Health Infrastructure Maintenance Fund. In business news, we have your usual market updates and more. Regionally, territories eye Caricom membership. And in sports, Calabar High School's new football head coach, Kamar Ricketts, targets long-term revival. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has allocated $1 billion for a new health infrastructure maintenance fund aimed at improving the upkeep of healthcare facilities and equipment across the island. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement during his contribution to the 2026-2027 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Dr. Tufton says the fund will support the establishment of an inventory management system to assess and monitor the quality of the ministry's infrastructure.
To establish benchmark quality of all our infrastructure, group our infrastructure into clusters, provide servicing manuals for each piece of that infrastructure. We're focusing on mechanical, electrical, plumbing, air conditioning, and HVAC and elevator services.
The minister also announced that key performance indicators will be introduced for service providers seeking contracts with the ministry.
The day of having extended service or being the sole supplier to support the maintenance of our health infrastructure without having inventory in stock, without having the personnel, they have to fly in from Europe, those days are going to come to an end. There will be KPIs in place where if you want to work with health to maintain infrastructure, you must have the expertise and the equipment in order to do so.
He says additional details regarding the fund will be announced at a later date. An Auditor General's Department report has revealed major concerns over the handling of Hurricane Melissa relief funds, showing that by February 23, 2026, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management had spent only $26.2 million, or 1.8% of the $1.44 billion donated to assist affected Jamaicans. The audit found weak financial oversight, poor procurement monitoring, and gaps in accountability within the government's disaster recovery response. It also flagged $34 million in roofing materials that could not be verified due to missing delivery records, along with $141.1 million in committed spending without confirmed payment documents. Auditor General Pamela Monroe-Ellis also notes that ODPEM still holds large unspent balances from both Hurricane Melissa and Hurricane Beryl donations, raising concerns about planning and fund utilization. The Caribbean Examinations Council is urging students and teachers across the region to use artificial intelligence responsibly, as concerns grow over the use of AI in school-based assessments.
As Caribbean students increasingly turn to artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT and Gemini for research and writing support, CXC is emphasizing the need for responsible use in academic work. Director of Operations at CXC, Dr. Nicole Manning, says the council recognizes that AI is now part of students' everyday reality and believes learners must be equipped to use the technology responsibly.
Artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and others have changed how information is created, accessed, and used. These are powerful technologies that we embrace at CXC. In fact, we believe that Caribbean students must be equipped to understand and navigate AI responsibly because this is your world.
Dr. Manning says CXC has introduced guidelines governing the use of AI in school-based assessments amid growing concerns about reliability of AI detection software.
Well, it is well documented that AI detection tools are not infallible. These tools work by analyzing patterns in writing, sentence construction, word probability distributions, stylistic markers, and they compare these against statistical models of what AI-generated text tends to look like.
She says strong student work can sometimes be wrongly flagged, while AI-generated content may also evade detection. Concerns, she says, were considered in developing CXC's AI policy.
But we know, for instance, that language is nuanced. A highly proficient student may write in a way that resembles AI output, and conversely, AI text can be edited to evade detection. CXC took all of this into consideration when we wrote the CXC standards and guidelines for the use of AI in assessment for the regional secondary education system. And so, let's be clear, CXC does not and will not rely solely on AI detection software to make determinations about your work.
Instead, the director says teachers will remain central to the assessment process because they are most familiar with their students' writing styles, analytical abilities, and overall progress throughout the school year.
Your teachers know you. Over the many months and semesters under their tutelage, they would have observed and assessed your thinking, analytical skills, ways of communication, and other skills unique to each of you. They have seen your drafts, your revisions, received your questions, and guided you accordingly. They are best positioned to recognize when submitting work genuinely reflects a student's voice, understanding, and effort, or when it doesn't. And so, that teacher-student relationship is and will remain central to how CXC moderates and assesses school-based assessments.
A 4.4 magnitude earthquake shook eastern Jamaica early Wednesday morning, according to the earthquake unit at the University of the West Indies. Reports indicate that the quake struck at approximately 3:20 a.m. and was felt across sections of eastern Jamaica. The unit says the earthquake had a focal depth of 11 kilometers. Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. Donovan Wignall, a former ranking member of the Economic Program Oversight Committee and treasurer of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, says the Jamaican people will have to endure a cut in their standard of living because of the impact of Hurricane Melissa and the war in the Middle East on inflation. Inflation was running at 4.3% during the 12-month period in March, and the Bank of Jamaica is projecting a rate of 7.5% by the end of the year. Mr. Wignall stressed to RJR News that although the government collects more ad valorem taxes on fuel than it programmed for when the price increases, it will not use the money to subsidize basic food prices. He suggested that the government will instead use those funds to reduce the amount of money it has borrowed in order to fund the budget. And as a result, consumers will have to cut back on their purchases of goods and services because of the higher prices. Jamaica's pension industry is significantly underdeveloped, valued at just US $4 billion compared to roughly US $30 trillion globally. Hugh Reid, managing director of JN Life Insurance, told RJR News that urgent reforms are needed, including the adoption of auto-enrollment in pension schemes. Auto-enrollment would see workers automatically placed in a retirement plan when they enter the workforce. Mr. Reid is backing recommendations from Sanya Goff, president of the Pensions Industry Association of Jamaica, arguing the move would help strengthen long-term investment funding. Currently, only about 1 in 5 of the country's 1.3 million workers is enrolled in an approved retirement scheme. Last week, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness signaled government's intention to make auto-enrollment government policy. For the trading period of May 12, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 4,472,192 units, representing 32.85% of market sales activity. JetCon Corporation Limited with 1,293,932 units, representing 9.51% of market sales activity. Kentire Holdings Jamaica Limited with 1,196,905 units, representing 8.79% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in auto sales, transportation, and distribution plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for May 12, 2026. Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $157.20 and buying at $159.14. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by 69-cent transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $115.89 and was bought for $115.20. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $3.17 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $214.16 and was bought for $210.99. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, let's talk about the hidden link between mobility, travel around the world, and your credit. People often admire a travel lifestyle without realizing how much invisible financial structure supports it. The people moving smoothly through airports, conferences, retreats, and international opportunities are often supported by organized cash flow, good repayment history, low utilization of their credit card, strategic use of credit products, long-term financial planning. The goal is not reckless spending for appearances. The goal is building a financial reputation that supports freedom of movement. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital markets and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, the Caribbean community, better known as Caricom, continues to attract growing interest from territories across the region, with several now seeking membership or upgraded status within the bloc. That is, according to Barbados' ambassador to Caricom, His Excellency David Comisong. He was speaking during his weekly Conversations on Caricom.
It's the expansion of Caricom. There are several territories applying for membership of Caricom. You know, you have full members and then you have associate members. The last associate member to come on board is Martinique. They were given permission to become an associate member, but we were waiting on the French Parliament, the French government, to approve the protocol on privileges and immunities. So those are the privileges that Martinique has to extend to officers of the Caricom Secretariat. So that was approved not only for Martinique, but for all other French
speaking territories.
Non-independent territories. So Martinique has now finally come on board. But in addition to Martinique, French Guyana has applied for associate membership. Aruba has applied for associate membership, and the Dominican Republic has applied for associate membership of Caricom. And then there are two already associate members who are applying for full membership, and that's the British Virgin Islands and the Turks and Caicos Islands. So just to make the point that Caricom is still proving to be a very, very attractive organization for many of our Caribbean territories.
Cuba's ambassador to Guyana, George Lewis, has reaffirmed Havana's unwavering dedication to medical collaboration with Guyana, even as the bilateral medical cooperation agreement remains defunct, following the Guyanese government's decision not to renew it. In an exclusive sit-down with Nightly News, Ambassador Sobron Lewis underscored that while the official Cuban Medical Brigade has been withdrawn, the door remains open for dialogue and exploration of new frameworks to support Guyana's healthcare infrastructure.
The Cuban Medical Mission, a long-standing symbol of Cuba's international medical diplomacy, played a significant role in providing healthcare services and medical expertise to Guyana. Its withdrawal marked a notable shift, but did not signal an end to Cuba's willingness to collaborate in the healthcare sector. Ambassador Jorge Soberon Luis, during an exclusive interview with Nightly News, emphasized that Cuba remains open to dialogue and partnership opportunities to continue supporting Guyana's healthcare system.
It has been a very meaningful contribution. I have to point out that our medical personnel was positioned in all the 10 regions of Guyana. So they were very committed. They made a lot of sacrifices and efforts in order to give their best to the people of Guyana.
The Cuban Medical Cooperation included training and knowledge exchange, influencing future agreements with Guyana. The diplomat provided statistics on the recently concluded Cuban Medical Brigade, which had significantly impacted Guyana's healthcare systems.
They also did more than 284,000 surgeries. Also, 60,000 and more Guyanese children were born with the assistance and with the presence of our medical personnel.
Ambassador Louis expressed readiness to explore renewed framework to address concerns that led to an abrupt end to the agreement. The Cuban ambassador told this media outlet that he has clearly communicated the Hispanic nation's intention to maintain and potentially deepen medical cooperation with Guyana. He however noted the decision lies solely at the feet of Guyanese policymakers.
Has the government of Cuba reached out to the Guyanese government regarding the recent actions that were taken to disband the Cuban Medical Brigade?
We continue to have a permanent communication and interaction with government of Guyana regarding all areas possible for collaboration.
Ambassador Lee emphasized Cuba's commitment to global health collaboration and its partnership with Guyana in the medical field. Antonio, the reporting for the AGP Nightly News.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is launching what it calls the Big Push, a 5-year strategy aimed at transforming economies across the Eastern Caribbean currency union. Speaking during the ECCB Connects web series, Governor Timothy Antoine said the plan focuses on boosting incomes, strengthening resilience, and reducing the region's dependence on food imports and fossil fuels through bold economic reforms. More in this HTS News Force report.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is charting what it describes as a bold new direction for regional development. Through an initiative dubbed the Big Push, the ECCB hopes to accelerate economic growth and improve the quality of life across its 8 member countries over the next 5 years. ECCB Governor Timothy Antoine, during the ECCB Connects web series, reflected on the institution's goals for the future.
The essence of the Big Push, very simply, is to make life better for the people of our currency union. Raising their incomes, strengthening their resilience, and improving their quality of life. Patrice, the big push is a bold vision and plan for transforming the economies of the ECCU, higher incomes, greater resilience, and a greater capacity to handle our affairs, to handle our own business. Professor Robinson said it a few months ago, nobody's coming to save us. Well, this is our response to handle our business.
Antoine points to the ongoing challenges facing small island developing states as the driving force behind the big push.
Why now?
Look around you. Look back to the last decade. What do we see? The shocks keep coming. Mm-hmm. And I very believe that the time for talk has passed. The time for incremental change is long gone, is no longer enough. What we need now is concerted, sustained, and yes, bold action to transform the economies of the currency union. And we have to remember this. If we stand still in a rapidly changing world, standing still is falling behind. We cannot afford that. Now is the time, and we must act now.
The ECCB's Strategic Plan 2026-2031 outlines theaters of transformation aimed at providing avenues through which the big push for the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union can be realized, which includes wealth creation. At least 20% of ECCU citizens should participate in regional or international capital markets, human development capital, education reform for digital, technical, and entrepreneurial skills, food, nutrition, security, reduce 80% food import reliance by 25%, energy security, triple renewables from 10 to 30%, digital transformation, universal high-speed connectivity from 60% access, and logistics shipping, reduce cost and improve regional connectivity.
How did the bank decide on these particulars? How did the bank decide on these particular areas?
Yeah, that's a very good question. First, we've listened to the people. Over the last decade, certainly during my tenure, we have been through all of our member countries, multiple rounds of country outreach missions, where we share our views on how we see things, but very importantly, we listen to the people. What's on their mind? What do they feel the central bank should be doing? And of course, what's within our legal mandate and competence? So we've listened. Secondly, the numbers speak for themselves. Food. 80% of the food we consume, we import, which means we are very vulnerable to global markets and to the vagaries of global markets. Energy. Almost 90% of the energy comes from fossil fuels, which means we have some of the highest rates of electricity cost in the Western Hemisphere. On the digital side, half of our people, 50%, are operating outside of the digital economy. Those numbers tell a story. Mm-hmm. They tell a story of our vulnerability, which we cannot ignore, but they also tell a story of opportunity, which we must seize.
In sports, newly appointed Calabar High football technical director, Kemar Ricketts, says he is eager to build a disciplined and structured program at the school as he takes over from Jeremy Miller. Ricketts, who recently guided Treasure Beach FC to safety in the Jamaica Premier League, says it is an honor to join a school with Calabar's rich sporting history. He says he's focused on creating a sustainable football program that extends beyond his tenure, while helping players develop both on and off the field. The former BB Coke High coach, who spent 15 years in the Costa Cup competition, says he's not making promises about titles, but is committed to giving his best to help the school achieve success. Calabar High has won the Manning Cup 3 times, with its last title coming in 2005. Ricketts says he's excited about competing in the corporate area-based schoolboy football competition, which he has admired for years. In cricket, Barbados Pride resumed day 3 on 262 for 9, but could only add 34 more runs before being bowled out for 296, 37 runs short of Trinidad and Tobago's Red Force first innings total of 333 in their West Indies Championship playoff clash in Antigua.
With a first innings lead of 37, the Red Force wasted no time asserting their dominance in their second innings. Cephas Cooper was the standout batsman, top scoring with an unbeaten 101 of 192 deliveries, hitting 14 fours. The Red Force closed day 3 on 209 for 7. Joshua Bishop, who was left stranded on 99 not out in the Pride's first innings, was the pick of the Barbados bowling attack, taking 4 for 60, while Roston Chase sent down 21 overs, claiming 3 for 49.
And that's the news on PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.